and then we'll have to mute it. Boom, we are live. Okay.
All right.
So there's going to be a 40-second buffer, and then the video is going to play, and we're going to have to mute it because it is going over speakers, and you will hear that. And don't tell us to turn our speakers off because we know already. Never mind. It's a regular.
I'll totally leave it to you. Totally.
I
haven't even. Have you tweeted it out? I haven't even checked.
I asked you to tweet it just before we did it because I can't tweet it. So I take it you didn't tweet. You were just in the toilet, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't need to know any more about that. Hello, everybody. Welcome. This is actually the second time ever in like 6 years of weekly shows that I've actually gone outside of my own safe man cave in order to record one of these. So I'm actually in Ginza Hub.
Cool.
With Robert Miller, who is actually an old friend who I'll explain the connection in a minute, but
15 years.
15 years we've known each other. I had hair when he first knew me, actually. It was totally
claim.
Well, I did know. I had hair. Seriously legit. Let me pause that. So, yes, we are here actually in the workspace that he runs, which I want to sort of ask about. But, yes, I'm sorry. I'm partly just getting organized at the moment. So how's things with you, Victor?
Good. Cheers, Robert. Good to meet you. First time.
Nice to virtually meet you, Victor.
Having a little cup of umeshu. I know what you're drinking.
A glass of water to you.
One thing I just had, I'm kind of wired at the moment. So, Rob, you're like a barista, right?
Yeah, years ago for fun, I did a course because I love coffee, and I got a barista's license, and now I'm able to use that by making great coffee for people every day.
He just made me like a double shot, which had like coconut oil and butter in it.
And butter, yeah.
And butter. So, you know, it's good if it's got butter. I told him all about my butter obsession. He actually got
loves the butter.
And he got really angry when I started explaining about the TPP and butter. The way that I get angry, I transferred my passion.
And here come the comments.
So that explains the coffee bean. Oh no, those are not coffee beans. Oh, sorry.
Where?
Helpful on your Helpful Hub page. I said
they are not coffee beans, but good, pretty close. Thanks for looking at the page anyway.
I thought, were those coffee beans? Okay, I misremember that. Okay.
Yes, Mr.
So, wow, you are a true jack of all trades. You're a martial artist. Well, this is what I know about you so far. You're a martial artist. I remember that. Of course, for an entrepreneur, you run this kind of an advice center for people who want to start businesses.
Yep.
And now you are a barista as well.
Yeah, I wear a few hats. I've been around for a while. They all sort of segue in and connect together at a certain point. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
So the setup for this is, you'll recall 2 weeks ago, we had Tia Haygood in as a guest. And the really cool thing about her story, just apart from the fact she's kind of amazing how quickly she just networked with all of us, how cool she was at the Hanami party and stuff. And I realized, I discovered when I was talking to her, I sort of said, how'd you get into the photography thing? And she mentioned how she was stuck in her English teaching gig and wondering how she was going to get into doing what she really wanted to do. And she met this guy, this Australian guy at the place where she works, who kind of showed her how to go and set up her own business. And she kind of thought, damn it, I'm going to do it. And she did it. And we discovered it was actually an old friend of mine. Rob, so I sort of came in to say hello, and I discovered all this cool stuff that Rob's been doing in probably the 10 years we haven't really, well, it's been about 10 years since we've been in touch, basically, on and off in touch, so Facebook and
Yep. A lot's happened.
That's right, but we heard the very cool story from Tia about how she set up her business, and I mean, that was really cool the other night. But we talked a bit about Rob during that, so yeah, we got in touch with Rob, and Rob's doing some really cool stuff, which I know a lot of people who watch this are going to be really sort of interested in, actually, which I'm also personally interested in. So that's kind of the thing.
Yeah. Everybody wants to leave.
Everyone wants to quit their jobs, well, and work for themselves. So,
well, it's not quite that easy, but it is possible.
So I guess why don't we start with the place that we are in, because this, how long has this been set up?
About 2 years, 2.5 years.
Okay, so before I mislabel what it is, whatever, can you tell us what this is, what you're running?
All right, Ginza Hub is a co-working space. It's a space where people can come and think and relax and deal with their most important projects and have a nice coffee and mix with like-minded people and build stuff. So we have software developers, we have translators, photographers like Tia, all sorts of startups that have transitioned from working in their bedrooms or their kitchens into our co-working space And then from here, hopefully, when they become successful enough, they go on and hire their own office space and take over the world or whatever it is they want to do.
So I've been here a couple of times as well. So yeah, there are lots of people who are basically running their businesses. This is like an office outside of their house where they can go and treat like their office, right? Where they
exactly. Everyone has their own key. They come and go as they please. They pay a small monthly amount, and the place is theirs.
Yeah. What are the sorts of people that use it then?
Okay, well, let's see. Like I said, translator, photographer, yoga teacher. I'm looking at the business cards on the cabinets behind here.
Yoga teacher.
Yoga
teacher. The yoga teacher is kind of a cool.
Hardware engineer, software engineer. Wait a second. Did I say translator? Yeah. Presentation skills. English teachers even who have broken away from their schools and are doing their own thing now and are starting small and spinning up their client numbers. So quite diversified. Lots of different nationalities, different ages, different backgrounds, but we all come together and work together and drink coffee and help each other out. There's a lot of good synergy here.
Yeah. And downstairs as well.
Yeah, so we've got this 4th floor co-working, like public co-working space area you can see here where everyone works together. But then on the 3rd floor, on the floor below, we've got a conference room which the members here not hire, but they book with an online calendar. So if someone's got a meeting they need to have, or they're teaching something, they're doing a webinar or a seminar, or they just have a client that they want to engage with, they can book off time and go down and use the full floor as their space. So down there, it's a conference room, but it's also seminar space, party room, yoga studio, martial arts dojo, pretty much anything. We can move the furniture around and change the layout according to what the members want. It's pretty cool.
So like for me, sorry?
You have a shower?
You have a shower?
No, we don't. No, the building's not licensed for, I mean, the building regulations in Japan are pretty strict, so we're not licensed for bathing or sleeping overnight or anything like that. But anything up to that is pretty much a go.
Yeah. I didn't know that you need a license for showering.
You need a license. You need a special building permit to have a shower or a bath, and it's just not going to happen for this type of building.
Yeah.
But you know, we don't get a lot of call for that.
But what I like is that, I mean, when I sit down, I talk with my friends sometimes about business ideas or about setting something up. We end up having to either meet in a Starbucks or, you know, on a lunch break from work somewhere, or, you know, you huddle in internet cafes or something like that. But this is actually a dedicated, you know, place for people to actually go and set up these businesses, but it's in a work environment, but it's in it's literally a workspace, right?
Yeah, and it's casual. People can drop in for an hour or for a day, or like I said, they can become a member and then they get their own key, their own locker space. They can use the address for their business. They can have as much coffee, snacks, and internet and whatever they want. It's a sort of a one-stop shop, let's say, where we're not charging extra for meeting room space or for this or for that. You pay your monthly fee and the office is yours, and it works really well. Yeah. Can I tell this story? When I built my first business in Japan years ago in IT outsourcing and recruiting, I had all these ideas. I left my corporate job. I worked out of my kitchen. I actually started to employ engineers to come and work out of my kitchen and then go out and service our customers, and it just wasn't working. But the next step at the time was to go and rent my own office space somewhere in Tokyo, which was just ridiculously expensive and way too much overhead and not very foreigner friendly. So I waited until I absolutely couldn't work in my kitchen anymore, ended up getting an office in Kawasaki because I couldn't afford one in Tokyo, maxed out my credit card, borrowed from my friends and family. It was a really traumatic experience, and we kind of made it. And then later on, the business grew into 32 employees, and I sold it at profit, and it was good. But man, the jump from kitchen to office was just awful. But nowadays, there's co-working spaces. There's actually 70 of them in Tokyo, not 17, but 70, where you can just pull up a chair, sit down, connect to the internet, and get to work for peanuts. And it works really, really well. To have this step between working out of your kitchen and hiring a full office space, there's co-working space in between. I thought it was such a cool idea that I built my own. And now I'm helping people not suffer the pain that I suffered by allowing them to come in here and build their businesses or work on whatever it is they're passionate about without having to make that huge leap.
So Victor, so this is something that I actually really respect about both you and Rob, actually, the fact that you did that jump.
You made the leap, yeah.
And that I've never had the courage to do.
I worked out of my apartment for about 6 months until I could get enough students, and then I rented out my own school. But rent is a lot cheaper in Nagoya, and we have something similar. There's a co-op working space that one of my students actually, I've got this on entrepreneur student who rents his place out. He pays 50,000 yen a month for a cubicle and a telephone and the ad. So he gets the cubicle, the address, and the internet.
Fair enough.
Is that in Nagoya? It's right down in Nagoya Station. So it's a good location. But how does that compare to what you have there in Tokyo? Because I mean that's a beautiful space, and if it's in Ginza, I imagine it's going to be super expensive.
Well, it's not super expensive, but it's 25,000 yen a month for
That's not bad.
24-hour access with the key. Like I said, the locker, the address, the use everything and not have to worry about any.
25,000.
Yeah.
That's completely. That's so reasonable. We pay 50,000 in Nagoya.
Pretty competitive. I did a lot of research on other spaces. I looked at there's little mum and dad spaces and there's massive corporate spaces owned by Yahoo and such. Where at the lower end, but I did the research and I wanted to make sure that we were competitive and that we had low barriers. Like a lot of places have, oh, it's an extra fee for this, and if you want to lock it, there's extra, and if you want to use the conference room, it's extra per hour.
Do you have any key money?
There's no key money, there's no contract. You just come in, use the space, and when you're done, you give the key back and you go. Super simple.
Wow.
And super high-speed internet and barista coffee.
Oh yeah, we've got fiber optic piped into the room. And we've got really high-speed router to get the Wi-Fi signal out. I mean, we have like 12 people in here at a day, all working at capacity. No one ever complains about the net speed here. It's super fast. My background is IT infrastructure, so I really wanted to make sure we had everything to make it a cool, fast, easy-to-use co-working space, especially with the technology.
That's unbelievable. It's 50,000 here in Nagoya, like I said, for a cubicle.
50,000 or 15,000?
50,000. I know a guy. Well, I think it was actually 45,000, but he lives right across the street from me, and he's also my student. And he's opened up a bunch of businesses, but he works out of an office, and he's always changing his business. And he gets bored. And he's like that John guy that we interviewed.
Yeah, Nihon John. Yeah,
Nihon John. He gets bored. He does something else. He's always buying and selling really cool cars and shit. But yeah, that's what he does.
Well, a lot of people can't afford 50,000 yen a month, to start up a business. So. I can't imagine that'd be very popular here. I mean, even some of the really massive places don't charge that amount. But I don't know. I imagine there are other add-ons or other services they must be offering. Yeah.
Wow.
By the way, I noticed in the comments already. So there's Tokyo Model Detective, who I know was kind of in the preview to this, sounded kind of keen. I know he's got a side business of the toy models, I think it was, and that you do out of your home. I think most people they're forced to start out of their home, and that's one challenge. The other thing, okay, and one thing is the space, and that's definitely people naturally start at home, and that's what you said you did, right, Victor?
Yeah, I slept under my table. I got an apartment, and I put tables in there for the classroom, and I would just sleep under the table at night. Oh, I lost you. You froze up, man. Is that me or you? Shit, what happened? Hello. Who's?
And again, this
Still here.
Let me just read this. Victor.
Yeah, I'm here.
You hear us?
You can hear us?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
But you know what? I can see we've dropped off from this end. Something's sucking up.
People say they can still see me, but they can't see you.
Right. That shouldn't be. I mean,
I know it shouldn't be.
I mean, like I said, we've got 12 people working in a day. All right, net's off my phone.
Okay, sorry. So this is okay?
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, we had a hiccup there.
Are we back?
Yeah.
Where were we?
You're saying in the comments something or other?
Oh yeah, no. So the
model
guys. So the first thing is a space and a place to work, which is one challenge. The other challenge, though, is just how to go about even setting up a business in Japan. I mean, people know when they're back in their home countries. Okay, you go up to the local, company, law office, and you register a company and whatever. But that's kind of, in Japan, I know that's kind of an intimidating process, right? I mean,
it is.
You did that, right, Victor, with your school? You registered a company?
Yeah, private, just a small business.
So how did you find out how to do that?
I bought a bunch of books. I just went to the bookstore, Maruzen, and bought a bunch of books on how to open a business in Japan.
In Japanese or English?
Oh, they were in English. I couldn't read any Japanese back then. This is like
so they were books in English.
20 years ago about.
Yeah. I don't know. So this is it. I wouldn't know where to start. That's honestly my thing. And I've done it as a job, but I wouldn't know how to do it for myself. I've done it as kind of on a bigger scale. But this is something. So you've had some experience doing this, and that's what you do around here, right? You help people with that process.
I've either created businesses, like spun up startups, or bought, developed, and then sold startups. I sort of know how it works in Japan. I've had a bit of experience with that. So one of the things I can offer my members here is how to not make the mistakes I made, how to navigate the rather convoluted regulations on building and running a business in Japan. I've got a really good network of legal professionals, tax accountants, translators who can help young startups to get set up as quickly and as inexpensively as possible. And this is what we did for Tia Haygood, who was on a couple of weeks ago. She had the idea that she wanted to build her business, but no idea how to start. I introduced her to the right legal professionals. They spun up the business for her for free very quickly, got her up and running, and so that she could focus on what she needed to do, which was getting clients and taking great photos. So she's got the co-working space here and all the camaraderie and the synergy of the other professionals here. She's got the backup of my network of professionals to make sure that she's all the T's are crossed and all the I's are dotted. And then she uses our third floor as her studio with either a black or a white backdrop, brings her models in, makes her look very professional, and it's all in the same place. So I'm pretty proud of that, actually.
Yeah. I mean, that's, to me, that's kind of living the dream, right? I mean, she was teaching English and wondering what to do, and it's kind of here is where she's got everything, going. And she's just she's personally just very impressive as well. She's just got a...
Oh, without a doubt.
Well, some people are kind of flakes who want to do this, and she's not like that.
Look, she's in her third month of business. Yeah. She's pulling in great clients. She's doing awesome jobs. She's doing way better than I was doing in my third month. Have a look at toptier.com. Have a look at what she's doing.
I sent her my portfolio, but I haven't heard back yet, so I don't know what's going on there.
Just go to toptier.com. That's the portfolio.
No, seriously. If I got photos of Victor,
I sent her my portfolio.
Is spam.
Oh, your portfolio. I see.
I think it was the nudes that turned her off.
Talking about feet. So, hearing on this channel?
No, don't even talk about feet.
Okay, no feet.
Rob, is this your main business now? You said you had a business before, another business.
I've had various businesses over the years, mostly in IT. First hardware and networking, and then in software. I was an English teacher to start with when I came to Japan in 1988, which is a long time ago. I worked for some of the biggest schools for about 5 years, and just really needed to get out of that and do something on my own.
Sorry, what year was that? 19 what?
88.
Okay, before me. So you've got 4 years on me. I came in 92.
There you go. Well, I've been in Japan for 24 years all up, but it was like 4 or 5 years here, then back to Australia for a time, and then 4 or 5 years and back for a time. But I think I'm in my 25th year this time.
Yeah, me too. Exactly. Okay. But you came during the bubble, though.
What's that?
You came during the bubble.
I did, which was a great time to make money, but it was a real drag at a certain point. It was nice to start spinning up my own businesses and building my own ideas, which I can now. I got a lot of help from really good people to get me started and help me from falling. So now I get to pay that forward and help other good people and help them build their businesses.
Yeah, I came during the Depression.
The Depression. There was no Depression.
And it stayed a Depression. It stayed pretty much the same ever since I arrived, just before 2000. But hey, there's a question from Wikipedia asking how much money did it take to start up this space?
Let's see. Well, I own the building, so it didn't.
Oh my God.
It didn't cost me anything. But to answer the question in terms of yen, I guess it would cost you, if you were going to rent space like this, it would cost, we rent out other floors for about 180,000 per floor. It's a 45 square meter floor.
Each
floor is
That's not bad at all.
Yes,
At the exchange rate
about $1,800, so 180,000 yen. Then you probably have to pay about 6 months rent in advance for a commercial space like this.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But commercial space in Japan is kind of expensive, which is another reason why people can come here and work without having to go that far. But if you've got the cash and you can get past the foreigner unfriendly barrier that sometimes exists, then I would say, I'd look at about 200,000 yen per month rent, multiply that by about 6 times as a deposit. You'll get the deposit back if you leave the place as you found it, and then you can have your own office space. A lot of money, and it's a lot of stress, though. It really is. There's a big upfront cost. Once you get going, it's all quite smooth, but being allowed to rent space. Years ago, I tried to build a restaurant in Ebisu, in a part of Tokyo, and I came across two things. The infrastructure was so horrible, it was going to cost me an arm and a leg just to get in and get air conditioning happening, or foreigners no good. Didn't matter how good my Japanese was or how much money I had. There was just like, no, the owners don't like foreigners. So now I have my own place, and that's obviously not an issue.
The thing with the startup, I mean, that's the whole appeal of this place, by the way, as well, is because Rob's gone and he has this space that saves other people from having to do these startup.
There's no Japanese real estate you have to deal with.
Right.
There's only me. There's no hoops you have to jump through. Just grab a chair, connect to the internet, and do what you got to do.
So it's 25,000 a month. There's no extra fees.
Nope, that's it.
That's pretty. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
Coffee.
come on
really
down,
good.
Victor. Come down for
Butter,
coffee.
butter
man.
coffee. I just discovered butter.
Butter and coffee. Oh my God.
Coconut oil coffee.
Yeah, a little bit of grass-fed butter, a little bit of organic coconut oil, blend it really nicely with organic
educating
beans.
me about the difference between grain-fed and grass-fed cow butter.
Fully educated on butter now.
Grass-fed and what?
It was to know.
Grain-fed. Okay. I thought you said brain-fed. Okay.
Grains. Cows are not designed to eat grains. They're designed to eat grass.
You've got a logo there on your shirt.
Yeah.
Have you got other branches yet?
What's that?
Do you have other branches of the?
No, this is it. I really don't want to work that hard. I'm really happy to be able to come here and help people out most days of the week. Some days I don't come. I mean, the members here pretty much know how to run the space themselves. They know how to make coffee. They know how to access everything. If ever we need anything, they just give me a call and I can organize it remotely. I spend a couple of months a year in Australia at a nice place there on the beach, and I just run it all remotely. I've got greats. Outsourced staff who will come in and deliver water or fix the coffee machine or make sure the place is clean or whatever. So it's pretty efficient.
So yeah, I'll consider setting up a butter company. It sounds like Rob might hit the market cornered already.
Okay, great.
Actually, there's one more I want to come back to, actually, and this is for both of you. It sounds great how this is all very well set up and so on, but you mentioned something interesting before, that you actually had some hiccups as well. You had some challenges in the early days setting up companies.
Yes.
So what are the challenges that you run into?
Well, the first one, just to repeat what I said before, was finding somewhere that's foreigner friendly and somewhere that didn't cost an arm and a leg. Now that they're co-working spaces, that's easier. As far as building a business goes, there's two things that you need. A problem worth solving, and target customers who you know for sure will pay for whatever it is. I get people coming to me at GinzaHub all the time saying, I've got this great idea for an app. It's going to be so cool. Oh, really? Well, what's the problem worth solving? No, it's going to be really cool. People don't buy cool unless it's Apple or one of the massive corporations out there. People buy relief from pain. So if you can't if you can't articulate a problem worth solving, it's probably not going to work. And then if you can articulate it, the next step is to find customers, to actually get out, talk to people, get a handful of people. When I built Ginza Hub, I did 2 seminars for entrepreneurs groups, and I described this whole idea of co-working space versus working in your kitchen or working in a massive office that's going to cost you, an arm and a leg. And I threw it out there, and I said, if there are 5 people, this is my concept. I had some mock-ups of the logo and a wireframe of what the office would look like. I said, if I could get 3 people to say that they will pay, I'll actually build this space. If not, let's just keep it at the concept level, and I'll just rent out my space to someone who wants an office. And I had 5 people come up and say, if you build it, I really will pay. 3 of those are now members here, long-term members. So I had an idea. I saw a pain point because I'd experienced that pain myself. Then I took it out and I actually gathered people who were willing to pay for me to fix that pain. If you can't do those 2 things, really, you're better off staying with your job. That's really the key takeaway here, I think.
I gotta repeat that. I got a letter just yesterday from a friend, a guy who came a year ago, and he wants to open up his own school. And the first thing I told him was, don't do it. Because he just wants to start from scratch. And when I opened up my school, I was a head teacher of the YWCA here in Nagoya, and they're a nonprofit, so they didn't care if I took students. So I came with 40 students. I already had.
That's awesome.
I already had.
You don't get paying customers ready to come with you. That's fantastic.
Yeah, so there's no risk, but starting from scratch, yeah, it's just I would never do that. I would never suggest anyone.
A lot of English teachers want to start English schools, but they can't articulate a problem worth solving. I just want to teach English. I just want to get students. Well, there are millions of schools, thousands of schools in Japan. You've got to have something that differentiates you.
So I see a good question here, actually, from I think it's Yuri Volkov here. He's got a question. Can you start a business without knowing Japanese?
Yes, you
Paying for
can.
translator, documents are in English. He's just asking, so if you don't speak Japanese, how do you go about that?
It's not a stupid question. I think it's a great question. You can. I mean, the documents you need to incorporate to start a business, but accountant who helped Tia Haygood incorporate her business. While he doesn't speak English, his written English is beautiful. So they did all the communication via email, then they sat down, had a 30-minute meeting, and they built her business. So you can definitely do it without Japanese. You don't need that. And if you come, I'm happy to help you out and pour you coffee and do the translation for you to get a business set up.
Really
it's not that hard if you know the people that can help you do it. And I mean like legal consultants or tax accountants or whatever. But it's not that hard to spin up a business. You don't need to know Japanese.
Okay, cool.
But I want to hear failure story. I love failure stories.
Oh, man.
I want you to tell me,
All right.
because you sound like the most successful person ever, and this is all very persuasive. But I know this happens because you have to have messed up sometimes.
You must have, you must have failed somewhere.
Absolutely.
Besides, and you got to say this for Hiko, because I don't know if he'll say it to you, but in spite of being Australian, or because you're Australian.
Careful, Victor. All right, so years ago, I teamed up with a very good friend of mine who was a famous doctor, and we built a business around wellness, around selling educational products and consumables, even food, to really help people hit the maximum, to be as healthy as they could be. And we researched the hell out of it. We built this beautiful website. We went to companies and we made contracts with them to get their products to us. And then we hired warehouse space to ship out to people. And we got it just right. And we tested and tested and tested it. And the flow was perfect. You could get online. You could read about our education. We gave away a lot of free education. Like I said, my partner was a doctor. He really knew his stuff. He had a good network of health practitioners. We had these fantastic products. And then we launched and we had this huge party. And then we failed spectacularly because nobody cared. People don't buy wellness. People buy solutions to illness. But we didn't ask anyone that. We didn't know. We didn't look for that pain, the problem we're solving. We just had a cool idea, poured all of our money and like 2 years of time into it. And I think we made like 3 sales in the whole life of the business. And we lost a lot. It was such a waste of time. We didn't ask anyone if they cared. We didn't ask anyone if there was a pain point to be solved. We just thought it was a cool thing and we're going to get all these people to jump in and be super well like we are. And so, no, nobody cared. It was a spectacular failure. So that really taught me what I said earlier. You've got to find a problem worth solving. If you don't,
it's just simple formula, but it feels so, of course, yeah.
Right. Most of the people that come to Ginza Hub and who employ me as a business consultant are these 50,000 foot level, great idea people, really creative, fantastic dreams that they want to employ. But when I ask them what's the next step, they've got no idea. They've got no idea. And you've got to be able to have both. You've got to be able to say, this is what I want to do, and here's the problem I'm going to solve with it. If you can match those two things, then you've really got something.
So Victor, I mean, and I know you've had sort of challenge. What are the ongoing challenges, other than, of course, the business concept, which I get, but in terms of like day-to-day running a business in Japan, what are the sort of challenges about that? Is it that easy to do, or what are the sort of challenges?
Honestly, the biggest problem are other foreigners getting in the way, as in bad employees.
Bad employees.
Occasionally. But I mean, you asked me usually it's smooth, but once in a while you have, even if you get a good employee, there's going to be some problem. One of our employees got hit by a car on his bicycle, so he's out for a week, and you got to deal with things like that. Or the problems that they have with students sometimes, and there's little hiccups, and people just don't get along. Or one guy we hired, he came over with his brand new wife, who hated Japan. So one of the problems was having to deal with her coming to the office because she was so bored at home. Little things like that. But it's usually the foreigners cause the biggest problems. But it's personal stuff. It's not all the time. But I mean, I don't know. I got to ask you this, Rob. I mean, there are a lot of flakes here.
Right.
You don't see that a lot?
I don't employ anybody. So I just outsource the things that I don't like to do or that I'm not good at. So I don't employ. But when I did have my business in Kawasaki, I had 32 employees, mostly foreigners from all over the world. My job became the HR guy. I was no longer able to grow my business because I was spending all my time looking after my employees. They were my family. I wanted to make sure they were doing well. Some of them I invited from overseas and set them up here with visas and apartments and stuff. So I genuinely wanted to look after them, but that became a 24-hour job. People would come to my apartment on the weekends, knocking on the door with issues they couldn't solve. So when I sold the business, it was really a massive relief. So I don't want to go back to that. I don't want to employ a lot of people anymore. I just want to have core consultants who manage the things that I'm not good at or that I don't want to do, and then the rest I can do myself.
So you wouldn't call them a problem, but they're time consuming.
And they have to be. Not even the difference between a flake and someone who's not a flake. People require. People need help. People need care, especially if you're bringing them into your organization. That takes a lot of focus and a lot of mental energy, and a special sort of person to be able to do that. If you're not that sort of person, and I'm not sure I am, you're better off outsourcing the hard parts. I mean, it's different for you with a school, but for most businesses, deal with what you can. Outsource the rest. Outsource the numbers, the bookkeeping, the creative part if you need to do that, the web services, even social media, administrative stuff, copywriting. You can outsource those things quite inexpensively, so you can focus on doing what you got to do, which is building your business and taking care of clients.
And I feel like, I mean, I'm the baby of the bunch in terms of time in Japan, only 17 years. But in the time I've been here, I've definitely noticed that things like those sort of services, sort of third-party accounting or third-party,
even legal.
Yeah, well, that's right. Those sort of things, they used to kind of be, Japanese would set everything up inside what they were doing, even in small companies. But now those things are actually quite easy to find, at least compared to the old days. You're not quite, you don't have everything heaped on you like.
Yeah, well, because there are entrepreneurs working in co-working spaces like this who are outsourcing themselves. If you need a photographer, we have one. If you need a translator, we have one. If you need a travel agent, we have one. If you need a software guy, a hardware guy, we've got them all here. They're outsourcing their own skills. And then the hard bits, they're outsourcing to others. It's really a beautiful mix.
So I noticed when I came in here, so how full is this place most days?
We get between, it really varies, between maybe 2 or 3 people up to 12 people. Monday this week was crazy busy. The next day, no one was here. They're all out seeing clients or doing their thing or recovering from their trade shows or whatever. It really varies.
When I came in to see the other day, I remember, there was about 7 or 8 people, but it was a good atmosphere. Was it? People are sort of working, but they can talk to each other and they all do different stuff. It was kind of cool,
There's sort of a level of respect where everyone knows they're here to build things, but there's conversation and communication. The translator guy will ask the software guy, do you know how I get this to work? And then the software guy will ask the software translator guy will then ask the hardware guy for something, and then everyone helps out with their skills, with their superpowers, which works really, really well. And I'm just making the coffee, keeping everyone energized and hydrated, and it works great.
You seem like a really positive person, but you also, it says, I'm looking at your healthfulhub.net site. And it says you are a martial artist instructor for 30 years now.
That's another hat I wear, That's why I came to Japan originally. I wanted to be a good fighter. I'd studied martial arts in Australia for 5 years.
But you seem so peaceful, but you can basically, you're saying
I'm keeping a constant meter apart here because I've seen this guy.
Oh, come on.
He's like a
Can we talk about the serendipity, the coincidence that we found? We have a mutual friend. Can we talk about that? Is that a secret or?
Well, that's it. Oh, yes. Well, actually, so I was hoping to see Mikey Chen in the comments, which I don't see. But it's a small world, right? So maybe the husband of Mikey Chen, just she messaged me the other day and said, I heard you're getting Rob on. Her husband actually does Wing Chun lessons or classes together. You train together, right?
I have my own dojo. It's a private dojo where I teach a bunch of mid to high level guys. It's strictly no money. We never talk about money. That tends to destroy really good schools, as a lot of us have seen in the past. And any martial artists out there, you can probably tell what money does to organizations like martial arts schools. So no money. It's a closed door group. We're just a bunch of brothers that train together. We don't go for it's my school, but there's no sensei or sifu or anything like that. We get together, we train hard, we finish up and go back to our lives, and it's awesome.
Okay, so. And I'm not deeply knowledgeable about martial arts. In fact, I think probably even Victor probably knows more than me about this stuff. But whenever I talk about like Muay Thai, or I remember in the old days, you've done like Kyokushin, Kempo stuff, right? everything, even yoga. Every time we mentioned yoga just before, and every single thing is like, oh, I committed myself to doing yoga every day for 12 months. And the other day was like Muay Thai. Yeah, I did Muay Thai every day for 12 months. And it sounds like you're like hardcore focused on like just about every day.
There's so much cool stuff out
there.
Sorry?
I can't even play the guitar every day for 12 months.
There's so much cool stuff out there, right? You got to try it all.
So what have you done? I mean, so in Japan, I mean, and actually two questions. One, what have you done? And two, like, I know so many martial artists are drawn to Japan because they hear about the great schools.
Rightfully so.
Here. But so how good is that? Because I know there's a lot of people who are into martial arts. I can't give them much information on that, but you've been doing that kind of seriously the whole time you've been here. So what do you do? What have you been doing here, and how is Japan for learning martial arts?
All right. Well, I had a dream to come to Japan and learn about power because I was doing Kung Fu in Australia and I just couldn't develop power, and I knew there were great karate schools and Kempo schools here. So I came here in 1988. I joined a great school. I wasn't very good. I mean, these guys were fantastic compared to what I was used to.
And what were you doing?
I tried Kyokushin, full contact karate. I tried a few different things, Aikido, but I ended up staying with Kempo, with Shorinji Kempo. They allowed me to study up to 3rd Dan, which was really good. The peak for me was to be able to go to the Honbu on the Shikoku Island with a bunch of Japanese guys and live there and train there at a temple. It was just a dream come true. So, I mean, if you really want it badly, you can come to Japan, you can get a visa, especially countries that have the working holiday system where you can get a visa for a year and work and travel and do what you need to. You can go to temples and you can train and you can learn under fantastic practitioners. And it's very different from overseas where, oh, this school's better than this school and our school's different from your school. It's sort of all in here. You can just rock up to a school and they'll pretty much take you in. Well, that's been my experience. So I did Kempo for a long time here. I wanted to find out if I was able to develop that power. I did a lot of full contact tournaments and did fairly well in some places and fairly not so well in other places. I've got metal parts in my shoulder from getting smashed by Japan's #3 in Kempo. That's a whole nother story. But if you want to do martial arts and you love it, there are fantastic schools here. And I really think that to get a visa and come over here and throw yourself in while there's risk and there's uncertainty, the rewards can be fantastic. So I started with Kempo, did that for a long time, went back to my love, which was Kung Fu, Wing Chun, which is the style that Bruce Lee started with before he did Kundo. When I went back to Australia briefly, there wasn't any Wing Chun where I was, so I got into Muay Thai, like Hiko. I gave myself 1 year to join this very high-level school and to get up to the stage where I could do amateur fights. I did 4 days a week and got the absolute crap beaten out of me. But I had enough of a background to be able to stay with it, and I did end up having an amateur fight as a 100-kilogram heavyweight. One of the instructors who I fought, we beat the crap out of each other and badly injured each other, but it was good. I didn't lose, so I felt good. So, and then I came back to Japan, had some wins in the full contact circuit here in 2005 or 6. I beat 3 other 3 heavyweights in the local Tokyo Sunda Taikai. That was probably the best. I got banged up again.
Jeez,
I don't ring fight anymore. I really just want to develop the depths of martial arts now with my guys. But there's really good fight circuits here if you want to get in and test your mettle as well. And then there are really nice dojo out in the country and in the temples where you can go and develop your skills. It's all here.
But what's the difference between going to a martial arts school in Australia and going to the same type of martial arts school in Japan?
There's a lot of I don't know. It's very competitive, I think, in Western countries between styles and also within styles. Oh, you're doing Kyokushin. Yeah, but my Kyokushin school is better than yours. It's more famous. Yeah, but have you heard of so-and-so? Everyone's about the who's who, I find. I really don't know and I don't care. I just want to be the best I can be, and I want to train with other guys who want to be the best they can be. And if we get to spar, if we get to develop our skills, it's awesome. But I don't know, but to train with the famous, I've trained with famous teachers in Hong Kong, in Taiwan. I still go to Taiwan every year and train with Lo Man Kam, and in Australia as well. But it's not about the who's who and naming names over here, as it seems to be in other countries. Here, the Kyokushin guys train with the Kempo guys, the Kempo guys train with the Jiu-Jitsu guys, and then we all go out for beers, and it rocks. It's very different.
So in Chinese movies, it's always like all the disciples of one school
it's
beat up the other disciples.
It's really not like that. At the old Kempo school I trained at in Kobe, after training, we'd all walk into town in our gi with our black belts on and our sandals on. We'd walk into the local restaurants and everyone would greet us and we'd sit down. It seems so weird now, but that's just an okay thing. No one points at you. No one thinks that's weird. No one comes up and tries to have a go. It's just okay here. So yeah, again, if you are a martial artist and you really want to feel the real, just come to Japan.
You know, there is something just generally about Japanese culture that I'm reminded of when you say that, which is like, I feel like when I go back to Australia and New Zealand, I feel like we're kind of so tribal and we're kind of posy about what we do. You know what I mean? Like, so when you go surfing in Australia, the whole local rules sort of stuff, and the whole, and people will get really physically aggressive and stuff about that. You go to a music festival, and if there's rock music at the festival and some guy comes on playing hip hop or techno, it's like, oh, I'm not listening to that or whatever. You know, people are really tribal about whatever. Yeah, whereas what I've always found with Japan is, you go to Fuji Rock Festival, they play rock music beside hip hop music beside reggae music,
and everyone gets along, right?
And there's no one getting aggro about anything. You go surfing, the guys. I mean, you cut in on someone, sure, you might get some words, but you're not gonna nothing like what you get.
No, don't try and smack you or anything.
And just seem kind of almost innocently, deeply into what they're doing in a really positive sort of a way. I mean, I find I go back and I'm like, why are people so like amped up about, I'm part of this tribe and you're part of a different tribe, fuck you kind of a thing. It happens.
It's really counterproductive.
You don't get that in Japan.
No, you don't. Like you said, with surfing, with the martial arts, with a lot of things, it's just much easier to do it here because everyone wants to get along. No one wants to try and take a piece of you because you're doing something different to what they're doing. And I really love that.
Yeah, I get that as well. So you get that sort of vibe even if you're switching through different types of martial arts and so on. People
absolutely
are pretty open.
In Australia, people would try and put one over me because I was from the such and such a style or whatever. In Japan, they go, oh, really? You've done that before? That's fine. Okay, this is how we do it. Let's train. And we just train.
Yeah. But no, but Rob does, I mean, he said it before, full contact stuff and
long time ago. I'm full of metal and Teflon and
crazy
scars.
Stuff.
And I really wanted to know if my stuff worked. And so the best way to do that, of course, is to get in the ring and slog it out with someone else who wants to know if their stuff works. But I don't really do that anymore. I'm just the guy that makes the coffee. That's it. That's good enough for me.
Two questions for you, Rob.
Oh.
One of them you don't have to answer. The first one, which is your age.
What?
Your age.
I'm 51.
51. Okay. Because you look like you're in great shape. And you said you weighed 100 kilograms when you were competing.
When I was fighting, I was 100 kilograms. Recently, that wasn't sitting on me very well, so I adjusted my diet and my movement, and I dropped down. I think I'm about 86 now.
Wow.
But I halved my body fat percentage, which is pretty good. It's nice to fight as a heavyweight, but it's not nice to walk around as a heavyweight so much. So I just decided, well, I'm not getting in the ring anymore. I think I'll just, slow off a few kilograms and feel a bit better.
So is this part of what you do for other people with your own?
Yes, that's another hat I wear. So I help my people at Ginza Hub with their businesses. I'm a business consultant. I hire myself out to non-members here, in fact, people in other countries, to help them build their businesses. But I'm really passionate about health and about martial arts. So I'm currently doing a course with the Institute of Integrative Nutrition, the largest nutritional school in the world. It's in New York, so I'm doing it remotely. That one-year course will allow me to be a professional health coach, but actually I've already started. I'm also hiring myself out as a health coach to try and help people be more well, be more healthy, whatever their goals may be, in 3 areas: nutrition, movement, and relaxation. I've got a client who was an ex-sportsman, let himself go a little bit. We're making really good progress by just getting him to tune up his diet slightly, more about not eating certain things rather than eating certain things, to tune up his movement a bit, more walking, less couch surfing, and to meditate and learn how to really relax and to measure sleep quality. Those 3 things are allowing him to make incredible progress, and he's really feeling good. And we've avoided perhaps an early death for him too, which is very special. So there's
I want to ask you about movement, but before that, I want to make sure I get this question in, because I think a lot of people are just going to be curious if you have any opinion about the Brexit.
Me?
Yeah, I mean, do you think it's going to affect Japan? And
listen, Victor, it mightn't be a very popular answer, but I really don't care. It doesn't further my game to examine the depths of politics of a country that I've never been to. Of course, it's going to have global ripples and things may or may not change, but I'd really rather focus at the things at hand, which are helping people, building business, eating great food, spending time with my mates, rather than, you know, reading all the Facebook posts about, oh, this is going to happen, that's going to happen.
I kind of feel the same way, but I feel guilty about it. I feel like maybe I should care more, but
you feel guilty about not caring.
I mean, really, again, it's not very popular, but it's not my circus, it's not my monkeys, really. There's nothing I can do about it. It doesn't exactly my mission to study that and to spend time on it. We've got a limited amount of focus every day. It would seem a bit remiss to focus on something that's outside of our area of control versus focusing on something that's within our area of control. So I'm going to be
great answer.
Focus on things I can fix.
Yeah, but this is actually so. I mentioned before we got on this how Rob is someone who I know as just being a relentlessly positive person. The internet is kind of based on, there's a lot of
negativity.
Energy drives the internet, right? And complaining about Brexit and so on is like the latest meme.
I think all the Facebook servers were like white hot over the last few days with all the screaming back and forth. And oh, really, guys?
Social media business at the moment.
Can't we just get along and go for a meal and talk about training or whatever, you know?
And just because I'm into it myself, I'll talk about it on my show tomorrow night. But you're actually a much better person than me for actually deciding not to get down into that black whirlpool.
That's it. It's going. Whatever happens is going to happen. It is what it is. How are you going to affect that? You're not. Whether you stress over it or don't stress over it, the result is the same.
Exactly. Yeah. That's how I feel about it.
There's better things to spend our time and energy on. But anyway, I know that's not going to be completely popular, but that's just how I feel. Next question, please, Victor.
Oh, what do you mean by movement? How do you said you're a consultant for food?
Right. One of my health coaching clients was a very, very large man, not that sort of movement. We had to get the weight off, but because his joints were hurting because of the large amount of weight he was carrying.
Yeah. I've got a friend who's has that problem now.
You know what a Fitbit is? I got him to buy a little pedometer, a little Fitbit.
Yeah. No, I've seen that. They're
in your pocket. There's wrist ones, and there's ones you can put here. So I just got him to get one of these, and I said, look, if you walk to lose weight, and you allow me to measure it, I'll walk too. So we do these walking meetings. We just get him out walking. We get him on the bicycle. We try and get him outside where he can do things rather than inside where he might tend to atrophy. And so we're using technology. We use apps to measure our sleep. We use little devices like this to measure the calories we're burning and the amount of walking we're doing, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No. I just wondered what you mean exactly by movement. Okay.
Yeah. So. I saw some people actually asking how to get in touch with Rob, and I'll put the links basically to the different sort of the Facebook page, the page for this, and the health page.
Robert@GinzaHub.com.
Yeah, it's in the video information anyway, so everything is in there. And no, I mean, for me, it's really cool through Tia. Just the example of Tia, because Tia is so much like us, so much like me, as you know. And obviously going out, all in terms of I have a day job, but I wonder what it's like getting away from the day job.
Join us. Hiko, join us.
So I do.
You don't need that corporate.
I want to tell Rob to join us. You should make videos. I'd watch your videos. I'd be really interested in just seeing what you talk about every day. Even if it's something you probably think is boring, it would probably be pretty interesting for us. You seem to have your you seem to have your head on straight.
If I've ever been successful, it's because I try not to bite off more than I can chew. I try to focus on really the essential things, hence not getting into the politics of Britain at the moment. I mean, taking on a whole new thing and learning how to make videos and stuff,
be getting advice.
That would take time away from the other cool stuff I'm doing. So now I'll let you guys do that.
Yeah. Well, you've got a lot of good information. So if it's okay with you, I'd love to get you back on sometime to talk about this sort of stuff again, because
let's get the gloves on, man. And
Texan in Tokyo just said she would watch you. She and her husband would watch you if you made videos. I'd watch you for sure.
She's one of the coolest people in Japan YouTube. Yeah. She writes her own books.
One of the biggest new bloggers in Japan.
I'll jump into these chats later on. I've actually got a YouTube channel, but it's all just martial arts videos, me sparring and stuff like that. It's not very interesting, but I don't know.
To get your tips on the martial arts stuff as well, actually. So that maybe for another time. Maybe there's another reason to come back.
I'd put the gloves on.
Yeah, I'd love to actually do that. Get some lessons, but a fight between Hiko and Rob, I would get killed. By the way, I would
It'd just be.
I would pay. How much would it cost if I got a Kickstarter up so you could kick Hikosaemon's ass on camera?
Beating me up. That could be my new business. I know people would pay to see it.
I'll cut Hiko in. I'll give him a percentage, 50%.
I would bet against myself and make money off it.
Now I'm going to do blog posts. If you look at GinzaHub.com or healthfulhub.net, whenever I'm passionate about something or whenever someone asks me about something, rather than answer the same question 3 or 4 times, I'll make a blog post, syndicate it out to Facebook and Google Plus and whatever, and people can read that. So I'm passionate about getting information out, making videos and such. Podcasts, I'm not sure.
Let us do that. We'll make money off you.
You do that.
On our channel.
But I'm blog posting. Tia's taking professional photos for me, so I don't look so bad on the internet, and that's probably more my style than getting in front of the mic every week.
Yeah. So we're out of time because I've got last train to get home coming up very soon.
I can drive you home.
Oh yeah. Well, we have that. The coffee here is really good. I got butter coffee. I've learned about. I mean, isn't butter? We already know that butter is the most important thing in the world already, and he puts it into coffee with coconut.
Yeah, coconut oil. Blend it up.
I'm not going to sleep.
Awesome.
Good for your skin.
It is. It's good for mental clarity. It's good for depth of sleep. It's good for a lot of things. You don't get that caffeine spike because it's 2 types of oil. It just comes in nicely. You can tell we've had a double shot of espresso in the last couple of hours, right?
Yes. So yes, yeah,
You'll be back, right?
I'll be back, and so lots of good information tonight anyway, and easy to find out how to get more. There's Tia, there's Rob, there's information below on the information, and hey, the poop hat from Texan and Tokyo.
From Grace and Texan Tokyo. Here you go, the poop hat. If you guys don't know,
poop hats with the books. That's all via Kickstarter, and I've got.
Okay, I'll leave that to you guys.
But anyway, I'd love to get you back on again sometime, and
Sure.
definitely if you're interested in finding out more, the information's below. So thank you for joining us. And
great to meet you, man. I hope to see you in. Come to our party in September 3rd, is it?
All right.
Yeah.
All right, for sure.
Rob, I'll drag him along.
Come, definitely.
I'll drag him.
Mikey just joined.
Yeah, I saw it before. So
Okay.
oh yes, we talked about the Wing Chun stuff as well, which is awesome. So indeed, see you guys again soon, and great to
Thanks for
join
watching.
here in Ginza Hub. Cool.
Hi guys, peace out.
Okay, you have to awkwardly stop the broadcast.